They said it was just science, just research. But what really happened behind closed government doors was something out of a nightmare. In the cold corridors of the CIA's secret labs, under flickering lights and the smell of old paper and fear, men in suits with clipped accents administered colorless liquids into the veins of ordinary Americans, mothers, veterans, college kids, even their own agents, without consent, without warning, and without mercy. This was not fiction. This was MK. In the name of national security, the US government embarked on one of the most disturbing experiments in human history, an effort to control the mind itself. LSD, electroshock, sensory deprivation, hypnotic suggestion, each method more terrifying than the last. The goal: to erase identity, reprogram reality, break the human soul, then rebuild it in the CIA's image. Victims were told they were being treated for depression, insomnia, anxiety, but what they experienced was a descent into madness, hallucinations so intense they screamed for hours, begged to die, clawed at walls. One woman jumped from a 6th-floor window. One soldier forgot his own name for the rest of his life. And what makes it worse, no one was ever punished. No one. The documents were burned. The names were blacked out. But not all the evidence disappeared. Some victims survived, and their stories were so disturbing that even hardened journalists cried listening to them. One man said he was locked in a room for 60 days, drugged daily, and forced to listen to his own voice played back on repeat. Another said they made him sit in the dark and injected him with drugs until time stopped making sense. He said, "I forgot I was human." But MKUltra didn't just stop there, it evolved. Some believe it never ended. Some believe the techniques were passed on, refined, hidden inside newer programs under newer names. Some whistleblowers claim the government still uses similar methods on high-value prisoners. Some even say it's being tested quietly on the public through media, through tech, through subtle cues. Think it's paranoia. Think again. Documents prove that real doctors at real universities were paid to experiment on people. The CIA funded colleges to dose students with LSD just to see what would happen. In one experiment, they gave a man high doses of acid for 174 days straight. He never recovered. His mind shattered permanently. One of the project heads was Sidney Gottlieb, a man who literally called himself the Black Sorcerer. He traveled the world looking for torture experts, poisons, mindbreakers, and the most chilling part, he believed he was doing something noble, that destroying people's minds was worth it if it meant building the perfect agent to spy who could kill, forget, and obey without question. When Congress finally caught wind of MKUltra, only 20,000 documents remained. The rest had been destroyed by Gottlieb himself. But the trauma lived on. One former CIA agent confessed he couldn't sleep without hearing the screams of test subjects in his head. He said, "I watched men turn into ghosts. You think you know your government. You think freedom means they can't touch your thoughts." MKUltra proved otherwise. It proved that, if they wanted to, they could own your mind, break it, twist it, and leave you walking around thinking you're free, while you're just another experiment. And maybe, just maybe, you already are. Because the true terror of MKUltra isn't what they did back then. It's the fear that they're still doing it now. Smarter, quieter, deeper. Maybe the programming never stopped. Maybe the test subjects weren't just them. Maybe it's us, that they operated in basements, in fake clinics, in back rooms of hospitals. One whistleblower said the worst sites weren't in foreign countries, they were hidden in plain sight. In small towns, under the names of behavioral research institutes, the records were falsified. The staff rotated every few months. They've stayed long enough to ask questions. But the ones who stayed too long didn't always leave. One nurse went missing in 1967. Her family received a single letter saying she'd taken a job overseas, but her passport was never used. Her bank account never moved. It was as if she was erased. In one chilling account, a young college student named Marcus volunteered for what he was told was a sleep study. He was 19, bright, healthy. After the second night, he stopped responding to calls. The program said he had left early, but his roommate said Marcus came back once, just once, sobbing, shaking, clutching a piece of paper so tightly it was torn to shreds. He never spoke a word. Days later, he vanished, gone. His body was never found. All that remained was the half-burned paper in the trash bin. One word was still visible: obey. Witnesses later described seeing people in government cars taking boxes from the clinic when the families pushed for answers. The building mysteriously caught fire. No charges were filed. No one investigated. To this day, the land remains vacant, as if cursed. Locals say they still hear voices at night, strange machinery sounds, and see flickering lights beneath the soil. Some believe something is still buried. They're not just evidence, but operations that never stopped. A leaked audio recording, supposedly from an MKUltra interrogation, surfaced online in 2009. The voice is distorted, but you can hear a man whispering to a crying subject, "What is your name?" The subject stammers, hesitates, then responds, "Whatever you want it to be." Experts say the voice had clear signs of forced dissociation, a method used to break a person's mental defenses. The clip was taken down within hours. The account that posted it vanished, but not before thousands heard it. Some who listened said they had nightmares for weeks. One listener said she recognized the voice. It was her brother, who disappeared in 1986. The question isn't whether M-culture happened. It did. The question is how far it went and whether it ever truly ended. Because when a government is allowed to experiment on its own people and erase the evidence, what else are they hiding? What else are they willing to do? And if they controlled minds once, what's stopping them from doing it again? Maybe they already are. Maybe the shows we watch, the apps we use, the ads we scroll past, they're all tiny tests. Maybe the next time you forget what you were doing or feel like someone else is in control, you're not just being paranoid. Maybe it's the program running quietly in the background, adjusting, adapting, waiting. Because MK Ultra wasn't about controlling enemies. It was about controlling everyone, even you, and just when you think it couldn't get darker. There's the story of the Forgotten Town, a sleepy fenced-off village in northern Montana, where rumors claim an entire population was used for long-term mind control trials. No official records of the town exist. It's not on any modern map. But satellite imagery from the early 90s shows a settlement where no buildings stand today. A researcher named Philip Garwin dedicated his life to uncovering this. His last blog post in 2013 described a trip to the site. He never posted again. His car was found abandoned 300 miles away. Inside was a camera, completely wiped, but one file had survived, an audio clip of static ... And then, faintly, a woman's voice whispering, "He found us." In the world of secrets, MK Ultra was never a footnote, it was a blueprint. And like any blueprint, it was built upon MK Omega MK Delta projects that supposedly died on paper, but in practice they morphed. One government contractor anonymously said, "They don't use LSD anymore. They use light, sound, digital patterns. They don't break your mind with chemicals, they rewrite it with code." So now, when your phone glitches for a second, or when you hear a sound you can't quite explain in the dead of night, maybe it's nothing, or maybe it's something. Maybe it's them testing, still watching, still listening. And if you've watched this far, maybe you're part of the experiment too. Sleep tight if they let you.